Good morning to all. Just now, I told Ramchandra Raju face to face about your uninterest in the classes. These classes are for you, not for me, or any of our staffs like pharmacology, pathology, forensic medicine. One day, 3 people are attending, 4 people are attending, and very rarely 7 people are attending. So if you are not interested, you will not be promoted, because promotion without exam is by our recommendations. They will not promote everybody. They will ask who are eligible for promotion. We have all the attendance, your attendance, everything here. Your marks, your exam marks, everything. So be careful. Try to attend all classes. This is not a difficult thing, attending 3 hours per day. You are not attending whole day. Simply sitting, eating in your house. Now, till now you have the general virology, where you learned the properties of the viruses, their structure, symmetry, multiplication, treatment, general treatment, all these things. Like systematic bacteriology, where we studied individual bacteria. Here in the systematic virology, we are going to start studying of individual viruses. So to start with, we are going to start the DNA viruses. DNA viruses. Generally, there will be 2-mark question in the university asking name for DNA viruses or name for RNA viruses. So the easiest way to remember which is DNA virus or which is RNA virus, by remembering or by hearting simply 6 DNA viruses, which is very easy. If you remember or by heart these 6 DNA viruses, whatever virus somebody says, other than these 6 viruses, you can close your eyes and you can tell confidently this is a RNA virus. Those 6 DNA viruses are parvovirus, papavirus, adenovirus, herpes virus, pox virus, hepatitis B virus. We are going to learn separately hepatitis viruses, which causes primarily hepatitis in the humans. There are around 6 hepatitis viruses, which generally came into the book. Out of the 6 viruses, only hepatitis B is DNA virus, or other 5 viruses are RNA virus. So if you remember or by heart these 6 viruses, if somebody says coronavirus is RNA or DNA, because a lot of things are going on with coronavirus, suddenly somebody asks, you will be confused and you will think it is RNA or DNA. But if you remember these 6 viruses, this coronavirus was not included in this group of 6 viruses. You can say confidently coronavirus is a RNA virus. Somebody says Toga virus, you will say confidently is RNA virus. Somebody says X virus, this X virus is not included in these 6 viruses. So you can say confidently that X virus is a RNA virus. So be alert and learn these 6 viruses and remember these 6 viruses as DNA viruses. Now, one is pox virus, the biggest virus of all viruses in DNA as well as RNA. So the biggest virus among viruses is pox virus, having irregular symmetry. There is no special symmetry like this hexagonal or linear, whatever may be. Then comes to parvovirus, the smallest virus among all viruses and also the smallest virus in the DNA group. Next, papavirus. Next comes to adenovirus. Next comes to herpes virus. Then comes to hepatitis B virus. Did you find what is the common property here? Common property here is icosahedral symmetry. Icosahedral symmetry. The capsid is having a shape of icosahedron. You already learned what is icosahedron in the general properties, and I will explain again by showing the diagrams. So, the nucleic acid is present inside this icosahedron, and this is the cover for the nucleic acid, which is again made up of the protein. Some viruses having envelope, a double layered envelope, whereas some are naked without any envelope. So the 6 DNA viruses are parvovirus, papavirus, adenovirus, herpes virus, hepatitis B virus, and the biggest virus is the pox virus. Now this is the icosahedron, having 20 facets. Having 20 facets, each facet is a equilateral triangle. So all 3 sides of this triangle is same. So if you want to make it, cut 20 equilateral triangles and attach one to one. Finally, you will get this shape having 20 facets and 12 corners. Each 5 facets or each 5 corners of this equilateral triangle are met at one point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Equilateral triangle corners are met at one point, either here or here or here, and this is called the corner. So icosahedron having 12 corners and 20 facets. You can see this is the icosahedron, which contains the nucleic acid, maybe RNA or DNA, and this icosahedron is called capsid. Along with nucleic acid, it is called nucleocapsid. Nucleocapsid, and some viruses having outer shell, double layered outer shell, is called envelope. This envelope is derived from the host. This envelope is derived from the host, but this capsid is made by the virus. So whatever properties of host is there, you will see the same properties of the capsid, but the antigens attached to the capsid are the nucleus or nucleic acid is of viral preparation. It is nothing to do with the host, and they are foreign substances to the host, or they are foreign bodies to the host. The first virus is parvovirus. Parvo in Greek is small. P-A-R-P-O. Parvo is small. Smallest 18 to 26 nanometers. Latin for small is, sorry, it is not Greek, it is Latin for small is parvus. Parvus in Latin is called small. There are three genera in the parvoviruses. One is parvovirus. Second one is erythrovirus. Otherwise, what the human pathogen we call it as B19. And dependovirus, that is adeno-associated virus, AAV. Some virus will depend on this virus. That's why it is called dependovirus. These three viruses we are going to learn in detail in the coming slides. Coming to the properties of this parvovirus, is ixohedral in symmetry, non-enveloped, otherwise you can say naked virus, 18 to 26 nanometers in size, extremely resistant to inactivation, and withstands 56 degrees centigrade for 1 hour or 60 minutes. This virus is inactivated by formalin, beta-propiolactone, and any oxidizing agents, but stable at pH 3 to 9. So, extreme acid or extreme alkali will kill it. Capsid protein, that is called VP2, represents 90% of the viral proteins. Genome is single-stranded RNA, sorry, it is not DNA, it is RNA, linear, sorry, DNA. Genome is single-stranded DNA, we are talking DNA viruses, is DNA, linear. Replication inside the host cell nucleus. Because when you learn replication of the viruses, there are three types. One will replicate in the cytoplasm of the host cell. One will replicate in the nucleus of the host cell. One will replicate both in the nucleus as well as the cytoplasm. But you remember, parvovirus replicates in the host cell nucleus. Host cell nucleus. Now, what is the main clinical feature of this virus? The main clinical feature is rash. So there are 6 childhood rash producing diseases, which you can remember. Measles is the first one, first identified one. Scarlet fever by streptococci, that is Streptococcus pyogenes, is the second one. Rubella is the third one. Jukes disease is the fourth one. Parvo or B19, which we are going to learn, that is a pathogen for the human beings, is the fifth one. And the sixth disease is Roseola infantum or Exanthum subitum, otherwise called human herpes virus 6, which we are going to learn later. So initially, before finding the causative agent, they used to call first disease, second disease, third disease, fourth disease, fifth disease, and sixth disease. So later they found the reason, which is the virus or bacteria causing this rash. Then they named measles, scarlet fever, rubella, Jukes disease, parvovirus, and human herpes virus 6. This is electron micrograph structure of parvovirus, which is a naked virus without any envelope. What is the pathology and pathogenesis? Found initially in the blood, called B19 disease, which infects RBC of the RBC precursors. Generally, this is not a dangerous one. So many infections are gone without any notice, but some result in the disease, which previously called as fifth disease, that is erythema infectiosum, and sometimes we call the disease as slapped cheek syndrome. Slapped cheek syndrome. So ఎవరైనా తెల్లగా ఉన్న చిన్న పిల్లకి గట్టిగా బొగ్గు మీద ఒకటి కొట్టారనుకోండి, అల్లరి చేస్తుంటే మనం బొగ్గు మీద కొడుతుంటాం కదా, స్లాప్ ఇస్తుంటాం కదా, వెంటనే వాళ్ళకి ఆ బొగ్గు ఎర్రగా అయిపోతుంది. సో ఇక్కడ కొట్టకుండే కొట్టేటట్టు కనిపిస్తుంది. దట్స్ వై ఇట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ స్లాప్డ్ చీక్ సిండ్రోమ్. అండ్ ఆల్సో ప్రొడ్యూస్ acute arthritis, aplastic anemia in people with chronic hemolytic anemia, hydrops fetalis, that is passes from mother to fetus. And in 2005, new human parvovirus was found, screening nasopharyngeal aspirates of kids with lower respiratory tract diseases related to parvovirus in genus Bocavirus, that we are not going to read here. Viruses in subfamily Densovirinae form dense inclusions in nucleus of the self-infected. Pathogens of silkworm, which have economic impact on silk industry. Suppose the Densovirus, which is a animal or insect virus that infects the silkworms, causing lot of economical loss in the silk industry, because the larva form will die, or the larva form even survives unable to produce the healthy silk. That's why there is a lot of economic impact in the silk industry by this Densovirinae belong to this parvovirus. This is what we call slapped cheek syndrome. Slapped cheek syndrome. You can see as if somebody has slapped the cheeks. You can see slapped cheek. The slapped cheek, as well as rash all over the body. Rash all over the body. Now, what is the laboratory diagnosis? Here, you have to, because it's very difficult to cultivate the virus for the future studies or diagnostic studies, the only way is detection of viral DNA, either in the serum, in the blood cells, that is precursor of RBCs, tissue samples, and respiratory secretions, by doing dot blot hybridization, by PCR, capture assays, by ELISA, enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, as it is very difficult to cultivate the virus in the laboratory. Treatment is simply symptomatic. Fever is there, you will give paracetamol or some other drugs which prevent fever. And human IgG injection, which neutralizes the antibodies to human parvoviruses, and these neutralizing antibodies will enter into the body and neutralize the human parvovirus, decreasing the severity of the disease, especially in the immunodeficient or immunocompromised patients. Adeno-associated virus, because only two things we are supposed to learn. One is B19. We already learned what is B19. This adeno-associated virus, AAV, in which we are going to learn in Dependovirus group or subgroup of this parvovirus. First found in the electron micrograph of a adenovirus infection. So in that adenovirus infection, in the electron micrograph, they have seen both the viruses, this parvovirus as well as adenovirus. Then they studied why this parvovirus is present here. And whenever they have gone the electron micrographs of adenoviruses, compulsorily they are seeing this parvovirus. This turned to be a satellite virus, needs adenovirus to be able to replicate. So this replication of parvovirus needs adenovirus. Hence it is called Dependovirus or adeno-associated virus. So it is not the reverse. Adenovirus won't need parvovirus for replication. Parvovirus needs adenovirus for replication. The second group is papovavirus. What is PA? What is PO? What is VA? We are going to learn is combinedly the three viruses. We call it as papovavirus. This is again a non-enveloped virus, ixoatral virus or naked ixoatral virus, a DNA virus. Now there are two genera, polyomaviruses, papillomaviruses. So under polyomavirus, we learned simian vacuolating virus, SV40 virus of monkey and mice. Papilloma viruses of the humans and animals, and there is a lot of importance of this papilloma viruses in the human being, as some papilloma viruses cause cancers in the human beings. We are going to learn. Then what is the need of the simian vacuolating virus? Studying the monkey papilloma virus. So this is very important, as the polio vaccine is prepared from the monkey kidney cells. Polio vaccine is prepared using monkey kidney cells. So when you are preparing such vaccine, you have to see that monkey kidney cells should not infect with SV40 virus, because SV40 virus comes along with the polio virus prepared by such kidney cell lines. There may be a production of carcinoma in the human beings. So before screening the monkey kidney cell lines, they must think of whether they are infected with SV40 or not. So SV40 non-infected monkey kidney cell layers are prepared for the preparation of oral polio vaccine or Sabin vaccine. Now, what are the papilloma viruses, because PA, first one is PA, indicates papilloma viruses, which are species specific and infect squamous epithelia and mucous membranes of different pores, forming warts or papillomas. Warts or papillomas. So we have studied in syphilis formation of warts in vagina and penis, if you remember back, but I think you may not able to remember. We will discuss what are the warts. Those are formed in syphilis by Treponema pallidum. What are these viral warts? Human papilloma viruses or HPV infects only humans and grow only in organ cultures of the human skin. There are 70 serotypes. Type 1, 2, 3, 4, common warts, what we call as verruca vulgaris, that commonly seen on the skin as small hard warty structures on the skin. Type 6 and 11, they cause condylomata acuminata, general warts, transmitted venereally and occasionally turn malignant. So condylomata acuminata or the genital warts are due to papilloma virus. Condylomata lata, that what we learned in syphilis, which are produced by Treponema pallidum on the genital tracts, either in the vagina or on the penis. This may cause or this may turn into malignancy. So we have to take care. If anybody, any human being carries this type 6 and 11, you should constantly watch whether they will be going malignant or not. Type 16 and 18, they are very dangerous. Once we found these two types on the human beings, and they will surely cause invasive malignancies such as uterine cancers or cervical cancers. These are the warts, normal warts, verruca vulgaris on the penis. These may be genital warts, sometimes may become malignant on the vagina. So these are the warts all over the body, including mainly on the palms and on the feet. This is growth extensions. They are not wooden pieces. These are the warts. These are the warts. These are the warts on the lips. These are warts on the vaginal wall, on the skin of the penis, that is profuse. This is on the vagina. This is on the finger. Laboratory diagnosis is by histopathological exam, HPE, electron microscopy, immunochemistry, and by PCR. Prophylaxis is there for HPV vaccine, serotype 6, 11, 16, 18. So all the females mainly in the age group of 9 to 26 years should take these vaccines. And of course, males also. but it is more important for the females. So 3 doses starting at 11 to 12 years, even at the 9th year, with a gap of 2 months and 6 months in the second dose and third dose, 0.5 ml intramuscularly. So these 2 people, Harald and Judd Hassan, along with Luke Montagnier, who identified the HIV. So they combinedly got the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 2018. This is Luke Montagnier, who is the Nobel Prize winner for discovering the human immunodeficiency virus. I happened to work with him in Libya for 10 days with a problem there, which we will discuss when we come to HIV. He is the health minister of Libya at that time. He is the head of the Department of Microbiology, Professor Ibrahim Kashpour. He is the postgraduate in parasitology. And this is Professor Ali, the HOD of parasitology, because they are having 2 departments separately, microbiology and parasitology, not combinedly what we see in India. These human papillomaviruses are associated with a number of patients of impaired immunity. One is JC virus and BK virus, and this JC, BK are the patients from which this virus were isolated, and the names are kept secret. And this JC virus will be found in Hodgkin's disease, progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy condition, and BK virus from the urine of patients with kidney transplant. So the JC virus and BK viruses are part of human papillomaviruses. Thank you. This is about the second group of viruses, that is papillomaviruses. The first one is parvoviruses. The second one is papillomaviruses. The third one, which we are going to see, is adenovirus. Adenovirus. Size-wise also, the smallest one is parvovirus. Next, somewhat bigger is papillomavirus. The next bigger one is adenovirus. So this is group of medium-sized RNA viruses measuring 70 to 75 nanometers. The non-enveloped, double-stranded DNA viruses infects humans, animals, and birds, showing host specificity, replicate in the nucleus of the infected cells, first detected from human adenoid tissue. That's why it is called adenovirus. Now, we will find adenovirus, that is adenovirus infecting the birds, and masked adenovirus infecting the mammalians. Human adenoviruses again classified into 6 groups based on the hemagglutination, DNA fragment analysis, and oncogenic potential, whether they may produce cancers or not producing cancers. Now, studying the classification of human adenoviruses, so the serotype 12, 18, 31, they will have hemagglutination with rat RBCs, And oncogenicity is more in hamsters than human beings. Serotype 3, 7, 11, 14, 16, 21, 34, 35. They will agglutinate with monkey kidneys, monkey RBCs. They are weak. They will not produce any oncogenic effects. Again, 1, 2, 5, 6, hemagglutinate with rat RBC. It is not oncogenic. Coming to serotypes 8, 9, 10, 13, 15, 17, 19, 20, 22 to 30, 32, 33, 36 to 39, and 40 to 49. This is also completely agglutinate with rat RBCs. None, they will not produce oncogenicity, but can transform cells as small tumors. They will not produce any cancers, but you will see formation of tumors, non-malignant tumors. Serotype 4, rat partial hemagglutination, no oncogenicity. 40 and 41, you will see hemagglutination partially with rat RBC. Oncogenicity is none. Size is 70 to 75 nanometers. The ixohedral capsid contains double-stranded DNA. Now the 12 pentons at the corners form the vertices. From each vertices or vertex or penton, a apical fiber arises with a knob at the end, appearing as a spaceship. Appearing is a spaceship. So you can see these are the fibers arising from the vertex or the corners or the pentons with a knob at each end. When you see, suddenly it appears like a spaceship. You can see this is the ixohedron wall made up of proteins. Inside you have the double-stranded DNA, and each penton or the vertex, a fiber will arise with a knob, and we have 12 such fibers, and when it is seen in 3D format, it will appear like a spaceship. You can see it appears like a spaceship. You can able to cultivate it. They will grow on human embryonic kidney cell, HeLa or HEP2 cell, that is, these are the cancer cells. Cytopathic changes are very slow. As you know, the cytopathic changes means the changes occurring in the cells of the cell lines. Here, the cells will become round and aggregate to appear like grape-like clusters, and you will see intranuclear inclusion bodies. Now you will find a number of adenoviral infections. Every individual will experience, but your experience with these adenoviral infections is unnoticed. So generally they don't cause any dangerous conditions. That's why you will not notice. Number one is pharyngitis, that in the respiratory tract, because they will cause infections in the respiratory tract, eye, bladder and intestine. So in the respiratory tract, you will see pharyngitis, that is non-bacterial pharyngitis. tonsillitis, and common cold by serotypes 1 to 7, pneumonia in the adults type 3 and 7, infants and young children type 7, acute respiratory distress or disease, what we call it as A or D, caused by serotypes 4, 7, 21, pharyngoconjunctival fever, pharyngitis as well as conjunctivitis in the eye with fever. So you will see febrile pharyngitis, conjunctivitis by serotypes 3, 7, 14. Epidemic keratoconjunctivitis, because this keratoconjunctivitis, that what we call is red eye, will appear like epidemic. If one person get in your class, suddenly 20-30 people will get on the next day. That is epidemic keratoconjunctivitis by serotype 8, types 19 and type 37. Acute follicular conjunctivitis, non-purulent inflammation of conjunctiva, because you will not see any pus formation or mucus formation, with enlargement of submucous lymphoid follicles and preauricular lymph nodes. And in the intestine, diarrhea by types 40 and 41, and acute hemorrhagic cystitis in children. That is, you will find pain at the pubic region and passing of blood in the urine in children by type 11 and 21. What is the lab diagnosis? Throat swab, nasopharyngeal aspirate, bronchial lavage, conjunctival swab, corneal scrapings, urine, stool, and biopsy of the infected area. By electron microscopy, you will see the virus in the form of spaceship, and also stool by electron microscopy, you will find the appearance of spaceship. In the respiratory tract, eye and urine, you can demonstrate immunofluorescence technique by using monoclonal antibodies. You will demonstrate the viruses by immunofluorescence technique using monoclonal antibodies. Isolation by tissue cultures, because I told you this can be cultivable, and in the tissue cultures you can identify the grown adenovirus by immunofluorescence, complement fixation test, and heme agglutination tests. And you have a kit, that is latex agglutination kit, for identification of adenoviruses. Serology is available, but you have to show a 4-fold rise in the titer of antibody in a paid sera. So, when you see this cell culture, adenovirus is characterized by cytomegalomy. The infected cell will enlarge. Infected cell will enlarge. You can see. And occasional multinucleation, you can see. It's not single nucleus. Here you will see about 6 to 8 nuclei. The cells retain its columnar shape and cilia, and a terminal bar can be identified. A terminal bar can be identified. Here you can see the terminal bar. No inclusions are seen in the cytoplasm. No inclusions are seen in the cytoplasm. The next group is the pox virus, which we are going to learn tomorrow at 10 o'clock when we meet again. I am again reminding you, all 7 should present for all classes here afterwards, because we are almost coming nearer to your session. Because if classes are going, your exam will be in the February. So we are going to conduct a second internal examination, which the dates were already given, with 50 MCQs. Whereas later in the month of November or December, we are going to conduct the third internal assessment exam, basing on the results of the 3 internal assessments and our attendances produced to university exam or university authorities. They will decide whether to promote you or to return you back. So if your attendance is poor, we cannot help. We cannot put a wrong attendance and we will not send you for the exam. Any doubts in these 3 viruses? That is parvovirus, papavirus, and adenovirus.